famous book that many of the ulama they said is a proof and a sign that Allah accepted the works, the dawah, the jihad, the efforts, the dawah, the writings, halaqat, dissertations, refutations of Imam Nawawi rahimahullah ta'ala. Because that book is one of the main books, as a staple product of the maktaba, the library of the Muslims around the world. Doesn't make a difference what madhab, what teachings, what region, what language, what color, what race, what background, what social or economic class. That book, Riyadh al-Salihin, translated loosely, that means gardens. How to obtain the garden of Jannah for the righteous. That book is a staple product of the library of the Muslims. And so in that book, with many favors of Allah upon us and the jewels to uplift and enrich the Muslims, Kitab al-Fadail, the book where he talks about virtuous things in its people. And as we know, Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala blessed us to have a whole month of virtuous things in his people. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he mentioned, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu kutiba alaykum as-siyam kama kutiba ala alladhina min qablikum la'allakum tattaqun. Now, O you who believe, fasting has been ordained, chosen, prescribed, given to you, just as it has been prescribed, chosen, given to those before you for one reason. Al-Masdar, yani Mada, At-Taqwa. Product in hand, the goal of mind, and Taqwa. La'allakum tattaqun. Then Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, after he talked about different categories of people with regard to abilities and inabilities to fast, and the concessions for feeding, making of days, then he mentioned Shaykh Ramadan, that he unzila fihi al-Qur'an. Now, the month of Ramadan, in which the Qur'an is sent down. Huda, the nasi, or bayyinatin, min al-huda with furqan, which is a further proof in it, and itself, of the guidance of the people, and that which distinguishes for them Sirat al-Mustaqim from Sirat al-Ashab al-Jahim. The path of those who want to achieve the Jannah, and the path of those who want to achieve Jahannam. Then Allah Ta'ala mentions, Yurid Allah bikum al-yusr wa la yurid bikum al-usr. Allah, he intends, he wants, he has designed out of knowledge and wisdom for you, out of that blessed month of Ramadan and its gifts and products, ease. Yusuf al-Ta'ah, ease in obedience. Yusuf al-Iman, ease in Iman. Yusuf al-Shukr, ease in gratitude and obedience to Allah. Yusuf, the sabr, ease and patience upon what's good and avoiding what's evil. Yusuf, the qalilun al-ta'am al-sharab, ease with a little bit of food and drink. Yusuf, fi qiyam al-layl, wa tasaddaqa min amwalikum, ease in praying in the night and giving from your wealth. Yusuf fawqa yusuf, ease on top of ease. Wa la yuridu bikum al-usr, na'am. And don't think that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving you these things to deprive you, or to make it difficult, or to put restraints on you. Because he doesn't want for you difficulty. وَلِتُكْمِلُ الْعِدَّةِ, and that he has wanted and designed and made it just right for you so you can complete it. But inshallah, كتب الله سبحانه وتعالى علينا شهر ونص أو شهرين أو 3 أصابع أو أسبوع، ولكن قدر الله سبحانه وتعالى شهرا كاملا، إما 29 أياما أو 30. Now, had Allah willed, He could have made it a month and a half of fasting, 2 months fasting, or 1 week. ولكن لا يكفي. It would have to be enough. But Allah has made it 29 يعني or 30 days. تلك عشرة يعني تلك يعني ماذا بارك الله فيكم شهر كامل. This is a complete month. So this Allah Azza wa Jalla designed for us to complete the month. ولتكبر الله هذا لا سببية باللغة. سبب لما سبق فيه من البيان وحكمة الله سبحانه وتعالى فيه. And that lamb in the Arabic language shows what precedes it. All of it is the reason that Allah Azza wa Jalla made it. تكمل العدة, to complete the month. تكمل العدة ولتكبر الله على ما هداكم. And in the end you can praise Allah by saying Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, La ilaha illallah, Wallahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Walillahi alhamd. كبر الله. لأن الله سبحانه وتعالى يقول في كتاب الكريم قل أي شيء أكبر شهادة. So the prophet says to them, what is the greatest thing that you should bear witness to? What is the greatest thing that you can bear witness to? What is the greatest thing that is more than all of this dunya was? Allah Azza wa Jalla said, Qulillah. Tell them as a response, rhetorically, of course, it is Allah. Shahidun bayni wa baynakum. He is a proof between me and you, a proof against you for me. وَلِتُكَبِّرُ اللَّهَ عَلَى مَا هَدَاكُمْ. When Allah guides you, you say, Subhanallah, Allahu Akbar. وَلِتُكَبِّرُ اللَّهَ مَا هَدَاكُمْ وَلَعَلَّكُمْ مَاذَا تَشْكُرُونَ. And then Allah Azza wa Jalla said what He expects from you after all of that, when you realize the ni'mah, the favor, the blessing, the fadal of Ramadan, وَمَا فِيهِ وَمَا مِنْ أُنَاسٍ صَائِمِينَ نَشْكُرُ اللَّهَ سُبْحَانَهُ وَتَعَالَى لَهُ وَفِيهِ. And then we should praise Allah and give gratitude and obedience to Him because of all of that which preceded in the previous ayah. So we talk about fada'il, virtues, and its people, and its things. It includes also times, places, actions. Now, so Imam al-Nawawi rahimahullah ta'ala, like many of the scholars before him and after them, they ruled about fada'il, a'mal, the virtues of deeds, fada'il, al-Qur'an, the virtues of the Qur'an, fada'il, as-sabr, the virtues of patience, wa-shukr, and its gratitude, fada'il, Surah Al-Fatiha, the virtues of Al-Fatiha, fada'il, Ayatul Kursi, the virtues of Ayatul Kursi, fada'il, Surah Al-Baqarah, yani now, virtues of Surah Al-Baqarah, fada'il, Surah Al-Imran, virtues of Surah Al-Imran. إلى غير ذلك من الفضائل يعرف علماء كتبهم. Now, scholars have written author books. So we want to take a glimpse, as we mentioned this in another masjid about a week or two ago. Had a 4-day seminar. We mentioned some of these things because again, we should still be feeling, reaping, benefiting from the effects, the aroma, the physical, mental, spiritual benefits and the presence of Ramadan. We're just now in the Qadr. That means we've been out of Ramadan 1 complete month. So it shouldn't be stale, shouldn't be old. It should should be something still in the hearts, in the minds, in the blood, the actions, the lives of the people. About the Quran, ذكر المؤلف رحمه الله تعالى نعم باب فضائل القرآن, chapter of the virtues of the Quran. And from the biggest virtues of the Quran, هو كلام الله سبحانه وتعالى. The Quran هو كلام الله سبحانه وتعالى, وهو كذلك الكريم كما بين الله سبحانه وتعالى انه هو القرآن الكريم. نعم كذلك هو يعني القرآن العظيم. نعم Kareem. Meaning in that Quran, Kareem has a lot of meanings. One of the meanings of Kareem is said, Barakallahu fikum, Kathir Nafa wa Baraka. Kathir Nafa wa Baraka. It has a lot of benefit, blessings in it. Now, that's why people say Ramadan Kareem. People think that this is bid'ah, or how can you say Ramadan is generous? No, Allah Kareem. نعم هكذا الله هو الكريم. وفي نفس الوقت يعني كلامه كتابه قرآنه هو كريم. بين الله سبحانه وتعالى لنفسه من كلامه جل وعلا انه هو القرآن ماذا؟ كريم. في سورة الواقع في كتاب مكنون. وأن معناه لوح محفوظ داخل فيه القرآن الكريم. And even if the meaning is the book that's with Allah, فوق العرشه سبحانه وتعالى, in that book is all the books, everything is written, which includes the original transcript of that Quran. And that's why you see on the Quran, they have print of the Quran. So that's the biggest virtue of the Quran, wa kalam Allah. منزلا منه وهو القرآن الكريم. That it came from him subhanahu wa ta'ala, and it's full of يعني كرم, يعني قدر, يعني status, power, قدر, يعني power, might, وأنه يعني كلام الله سبحانه وتعالى هو القرآن الكريم. And it is the noble, full of benefit, blessings, the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وكذلك هذا القرآن ليس بمخلوق. نعم هذا نقطة مهمة جدا. This is a very important one. And the Quran ليس بمخلوق. It is not created. And unfortunately, there are people that believe that. There are people that call to that. There are people that promote that, and then there's people in the world that have died for that. Whether or not the Quran is created or not. And if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala indeed يتكلم, He speaks, متى يشاء, whenever He wants, كيف يشاء, whenever He likes, لمن يشاء, to whoever He wills. وهو كلام من صفة ذاته, it's from his actual actions that's a part of him. وكذلك هو ماذا فعل عظيم, it's a great action of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. حتى أن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم يوصف بأنه تام. نعم. So much so the Son described the Quran, the speech of Allah Ta'ala, is being tam. Tam هنا بمعنى بدون نقص ولا عيب ولا تقصير لأنه كلام الله سبحانه وتعالى. There's no shortcomings. It has no faults, no mistakes, no blemishes, no glitches, because it's the speech of Allah. And the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he used to say, وَخَيْرُ يعني كلام Allah. The best speech is the speech of كان يقول عليه الصلاة والسلام أحسن كلام كلام الله. The most excellent speech is the speech of Allah. وهذا من باب عام. This is in general. ولسيما القرآن الكريم. Moreover, the book of Allah, how He spoke and sent it down in the form of a book, which we know is the Quran. It's complete. كان النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم دعا اللهم إني أعوذ بك اللهم إني أعوذ بك من كلمات لا أعوذ بكلمات الله أعوذ بكلمات الله التامات من شر ما خلق. You should say, I seek refuge in Allah. I am seeking the protection of Allah. I am seeking the power and might from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through His words that are perfect from every evil thing that He has created out of His wisdom. Kalimatullah. The ulama, they said this is it's general. Yushmal al-Quran, and it includes the Quran. كما قال الله سبحانه وتعالى قل أعوذ برب الفلق. Say, O Muhammad, I seek refuge in the Lord of the Falaq. من شر ما خلق, from the evil that He has created. ومن شر غاسق ماذا إذا وقب. Now, from the evil when it becomes dark, because like they say, the freaks come out at night. Allah. من شر النفاثات في العقد, and seeking refuge in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from the knots that they blow and the evil words they use when they put ماذا سحر on the people, magic. من شر حاسد إذا حسد, and from the evil of the envier when he wants to make his hasad. Seek refuge in Allah from all of its evil. Serious issue. مشاهد هذا كلام الله أنه تام ولا يزال ولا يكون إلا بدون نقص وبدون عيوب عيوب وبدون ماذا بارك الله فيكم شيء من مخلوقاته سبحانه وتعالى. That speech is always going to remain pure, whole, without any blemish or defect, and without any mixture or part of His human creation. Also, you have the companions of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. كما أن ابن عباس رضي الله تعالى عنه ذكر من رد حرفا من كتاب الله فقد كفر. Whosoever rejects a single letter, a single word from the Quran, the book of Allah, is disbelieved. نقل هذا من بعض التابعين. Some of the tabi'in كان يقول نفس الشيء. Man رد شيء من القرآن فقد كفر. Or rejects anything, and we're talking about knowingly so, with sanity and not insane, rejecting something from the Quran. كان من كان, whoever it may be, قد كفر. He has disbelief. أفتؤمنون ببعض الكتاب وتكفرون ببعض. Allah said, and you believe in a part of the book and disbelieve in another part of it thereof. Allahumma فما جزاء ومن يفعل ذلك منكم إلا خزي في حياة الدنيا. And what will be the recompense for the one who does that, except he's going to have a great sin upon him in this life. يوم القيامة يردون إلى أشد العذاب. In the day of judgment, he will be given. It will come back to him the most tremendous of punishment. Now, because of the issue of disbelieving in something from the Quran. وقد ذكر الإمام أحمد بن حنبل رحمه الله تعالى من كفر بالقرآن من قال أن القرآن مخلوق فقد كفر. من قال أن القرآن مخلوق فهو فله 3 أيام يعني فاستتاب نعم فاستتاب 3 أيام فإن لم يعني يتوب قد قتل. Give him 3 days, lock him up so he can reflect, think about it, make clarity to him. This is haram, this is disbelief. Allah says, this ayah, that ayah, Rasulullah said about it, the companion said about it. If he still insists on the Quran makhluq, ولرجع من هذا قول هو يعني سالم في دينه وعقله فقد قتل. خلاص, if he's saying, he's been evaluated, he's not crazy, he knows, he's stubborn upon that, khalas, he should be executed. And some of the books of the scholars have quoted. Because once you promote, once you pump, once you spread, once you believe, and the Quran makhluq, khalas, ma fish kitab Allah. وَلَوْلَا مِنْ كِتَابِ اللَّهِ لَا يَكُونَ لَنَا دِينٌ. And if it's not for the revelation, we wouldn't have a deen. Happen now. So it's a serious issue, and it's from the first of the fadail of the Quran, first of the virtues and the things of status and might and glory to the Quran, أنه كلام الله وأنه ليس بمخلوق ومن زعم أنه مخلوق وأنه سالم من يعني ماذا ذهاب بعقله أو شيء من سكرا فهو يعني كافر. So as long as the person is not drunk, because if he's drunk and he says that, he has an excuse. If he's insane and he says that, he has an excuse. If he's يعني غير تمييزا يعني في عقله, he's a little kid, he doesn't know any better, he's not mature, خلاص. But we're talking about adult, sane, not drunk. He knows and he has this wicked belief, and he's been taught and mentioned and advised and shown and is proven. He understands, and he's stubborn upon that. Is this? Also, from amongst the virtues of the Quran, أنه يتضمن كتب السابقة. It includes the books of the previous nations. And this is a miracle and a virtue in itself. That the Quran, it includes, and it is from amongst those books that in it, and let me rephrase what I'm saying. From the virtues of the Quran, from amongst the virtues of the Quran and its gifts and miracles is that the Quran includes the past revelations. فيه يعني Torah wal Injil. Now, it is that which contains Torah and Injil. And we'll have many examples of how Allah has mentioned that in the Quran. Things, stories, statements, rulings that were from the people of the book, Christian and the Jew. Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala mentioned مصدقا لما بين يديه من التوراة والإنجيل وقال تبارك وتعالى محيمن عليه. Naam, the Quran is a testimony. It is a verification. It is a co-signer to the previous book, the Torah, which was revealed to Moses, Musa alayhi salam, Ben Israel, wal Injil, Isa ibn Maryam, Sish, that was given to Isa, the son of Mary. And Allah said, Muhammad alayhi, the Quran is like a lawyer, where they debate and argue. وقالت اليهود ليست النصارى على شيء وقالت النصارى ليست اليهود على شيء وهم يتلون الكتاب. Jews say the Christians are not upon anything. Christians say the Jews are not upon anything. This one said this one is in error. That one says no, that one's in error. This group said this one is misguided, and this group says that one is misguided. وهم يتلون الكتاب. Allah said, while you are both readers of the scripture that come to you. But the Quran, Hamun alayhi, so it's going to be a judge, settling dispute in this life, and on the day of judgment, Allah yahkumu baynahum yawm al-qiyamati fima kanu fihi yakhtalifun. And on the day of judgment, then Allah is going to be the one who sorts out the argument. But in this life, but the Quran. Now, is the measuring stick, it is the verification, it is the prosecuting attorney, in the sense that it will clarify and verify what's true from the previous scripture or not. It's just another fadail of the Quran, another virtue, another merit, another great part and thing about the book of Allah and the Quran al-Kareem. Also from the miracles and the blessings, virtues of the Quran, Allah said, أَفَلَا يَتَدَبَّرُونَ الْقُرْآنَ أَمْ عَلَىٰ قُلُوبِهِمْ أَكْفَالُونَ نَعَمْ. Do they not think about the Quran? Do not read it and sit and examine it? Do not read, sit, and think about it? Do they not let it run through their mind what they just read and take time and soul search with that Quran? Or do they have a padlock? Do they have a seal, a block of something, keeping that heart closed from this life? So it shows you that the Quran is part of our psychology. Some scholars have written books about the psychology of the Quran. And Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha was asked about the khuluq, nabi, the character of the Prophet said, khuluq al-Quran. His character is that of the Quran. Some narration said, she said, Quran yamshi, he's the Quran walking. Meaning, you want to see the Quran in its practical sense, look at, watch, examine the Prophet, because he's going to do in his life, in his actions, he's going to do the enactment of the Quran. This is another virtue of the Quran, that Allah Azza wa Jal sent it to be a psychology for us, to be a mindset for us, to be something that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will allow us to use in a psychological sense. Also from the virtues of the Quran, وَلَدَهْ لَكَ أَجْرٌ حِينَمَا تَقْرُهَا ماذا بارك الله فيكم كما أن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال من قرأ حرفا من كتاب الله فله أجر. Whosoever reads a single letter from the Quran, whosoever, male, female, young, old, Arab, non-Arab, educated, layman, whoever reads it, فله أجر. And this هو عام لكن بمعنى خاص. عام general ولكن خاص للمسلمين. It's particular only for the Muslim. نحن إذا يقرأ القرآن الكافر ليس له أجر. إذا يقرأ القرآن الكافر الملحد أو المنافق ليس لهم أجر أبدا. Somebody reads the Quran, is an atheist or a disbeliever, or is a person who is a hypocrite, meaning he professes Islam, and in their heart they really disbelieve, they're hiding their Islam, that they don't believe, they're betraying it, that they don't believe in Islam, they will not get a reward. Because reading the Quran, reciting the Quran is considered act of worship. Ta'abbud lillah, litaqarrab lillah, shay'in yuhibbu Allah wa Allah, something that draws you nearer to Allah in love, something that draws you nearer to Allah and receiving His mercy, which is considered an act of worship. بيان الشيخ الإسلام تيمية العبادة هو اسم جامع لكل ما يحب الله ويرضى الله. That ibadah is a comprehensive word. Don't think it in the ritualistic sense. Come outside the box. Ibadah, worship, is everything that Allah tells you about and that He loves. So for example, if Allah tells you about taking care of your family as a man, and Allah tells you He's pleased with it, that I'm doing ibadah. This is the type of ibadah. Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala tells you about hygiene, cleanliness, more so after relieving yourself or having sexual intercourse, or for ladies after having menstruation, bleeding monthly, periodically, or childbirth. Then you're talking about it. It's something Allah tells you He loves, He likes, He commands you. Then put that in the category of ibadah. وكذلك أن تصلي وتصوم وتزكي يعني ماذا وتترك ما لا يحب الله ويرضاه, to pray, to fast, to purify yourself physically, spiritually from bad things and bad concepts, to abandon what Allah does not like and does not love. Consider worship. Consider worship. So here when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, His Prophet says, whoever reads the Quran and qara'a harfan kitabillah ajr, is talking about in general, but for the Muslim. In general, any type of Muslim, but it's restricted to the Muslim. من قرأ حرفا من كتاب الله فله حسنة. Now, فله حسنة, now he will be receiving a reward, a wage. وحسنة عشر أمثالها. والحسنة عشر أمثالها. And the good reward, the ajr, the wage, it will be multiplied. You do one deed, that you look over there as if you have payments for 10 deeds. You do a job, so basically you come tomorrow, cut my grass. Say yes, how much? I'm going to pay you $75. You said that. One time, you're there at 8 o'clock. You show up at 7:50. That's good, you're early. Quarter to 8, that's good. You do the work, you finish, you do a good job, clean up. Person said, here's your money. 75. I said, thank you very much. I said, wait a minute. 75. I said, wait a minute. That's too much. He said, no, 75. And he just keep giving you 75, so he's giving you 75 10 times. I said, wow. But we only agreed to 75. He said, well, I'll give you extra because you did such a great job. وَلِلَّهِ مَثْلُ الْأَعْلَى. Allah has the higher example than that. You do a deed, Allah give it to you as if you did it 10 times. That's the recitation of the Quran for one single letter. And then the Prophet said, مَا أَقُلْ أَلَفْ لَا مِنْ حَرْفٍ. And what I intend when I say harf, harf here has a lot of meanings. أحيانا harf بمعنى يعني أقل شيء. Sometimes it means the least amount. As the Tabaraka wa Ta'ala he mentioned about وَمِنَ النَّاسِ مَن يَعْبُدُ اللَّهَ عَلَى الْحَرْفِ. And some people, they worship Allah ala harf. Allah uses the word harf. Here it's talking about barely worshiping Allah. Some fitna come, khalas, somebody pushed them outside of Islam. Some real calamity come, it might break them. They barely Muslim. Iman fragile like a piece of thread, ala harf. Barely make it. They're doing just, okay until something happens that will rock their world. Khalas, Islam is flushed down the drain. Harf, Allah uses this term. Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala uses this term. Sometimes, talking about speech. Here the Prophet is usually talking about recitation of the Quran. Harf, kitabillah. So it clarifies, لا أقول حرف ألف لام وميم. So I didn't intend, like you read Surah Al-Baqarah, the beginning, ألف لام ميم. Somebody might say that's harf. All three of those individual letters, as they say, حروف مقطع, letters that are broken. They don't mean anything, they don't consist of a word, but they're there. Prophet said, no, that's not what I mean. You get a reward for those three together, and if we multiply it, then those three would get 10, because each one of them is considered a unit, one. No, he said alif is one, lam is one, mim is one, so that means 3 times 10 is 30. Rather than 3 of them means 1, and 1 times 10 is 10. Said each individual letter is what will be multiplied 10 times, and this is one of the virtues of the Quran. You read it, it's up to Allah, He give you any extra, and you know, deeds are multiplied 700 ضعف إلى يعني أضعاف إلى ما يحب الله ويرضاه. The deeds can be multiplied 700 in measure or more. Allah has no limit. But sometimes He shows you numbers and categories to encourage you or to make you strive, to invigorate you, to make you go forward. So this is another virtue of the Quran, 9, that for each letter. And wallahi, this also encouragement for the people to learn how to read the Book of Allah. This has nothing to do with taking away from the benefit in your native tongue. It's English, French, Spanish. This is Turjaman of Quran, translation, meaning of Quran. Here what's meant, yani the Quran. What Allah mentioned, Qul huwallahu ahad, that's Quran. Say here Allah is one, then it's not Quran. What you heard, Qul huwallahu ahad, that's Quran. Now, so this is what's meant, and the person should strive because that's reading the Book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. أما القول بأن هذا مخلوق صوت البشرية, as far as people who have said in the past and they continue to say that it's created, what you just heard, then yes, the vocal cord, the sound from the person is created. ولكن الأصل يعود إلى يعني ماذا Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But the origin of what you're saying goes back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It doesn't go back to you because the Quran didn't originate with you. If you die in the Quran, it doesn't vanish. If you die in the Quran, it's lifted. And the Quran didn't start with you. It came from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So you always go back to the source. And aslu. Not the one who is the one who's reading the Quran, the one who's reciting the Quran. Yes, his voice, her voice created. The essence not created because the essence is the Book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As for the virtue, Mubarakallahu fikum, of its people, then the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam has mentioned the likes of the hadith of Uthman bin Affan, أخرجه في البخاري منفرد فيه, it's collected on the Bukhari. Well, the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he said, خير الناس من تعلم القرآن وعلمه. The best people, those who learn the Quran and teach it to us. And the ulama, when they talk about this, they said, learn the Quran, give the main shame in the Quran kamilan. The main person who learns a portion of the Quran, a segment of the Quran, something from the Quran, or he learns the entire Quran. And we have to say, especially to the American audience, because this is part of our culture, we're not talking about people who learn by themselves. Because we have a culture where people think that's praiseworthy, and it does not mean that the person is dumb because he or she needs a teacher. This is the uslub wal مناهج التعليم في الإسلام لا يكون إلا من وسط ومن جهة يعني ماذا التعليم. It has to be from the perspective of learning, which ta'lim means you have a teacher and there's a pupil. There's a pupil and a teacher. كما أن جبريل كان يعني عليه الصلاة والسلام كل عام يعني زار النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم ويتدرسان يعني القرآن بينهما, and they يعني studied the Quran. The Prophet listened to Braille and they will study the Quran. So this is important when you talk about the virtue of the Quran, its people. And Salah mentioned the best of them, يعني نعم عند الله وعند الملائكة وعند المسلمين وعند الناس أجمعين من تعلمه من يعني ما لا تعلمه وعلمه. Those who learn it, he who learns it, those who learn it, something from it, all of it, and yani teach it to us. Now, also, Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, mentioned yani ta'ahad al-Quran, yani to tie the Quran down. This shows a person can't deal with the Quran in a negligent way. He or she has to be a person who has the sahib of the Quran. He or she has a relationship with the Quran. He or she has made the Quran sahib. He is a companion of that Quran. The Quran is a companion of his, meaning he's with it. He's familiar with it, its reading, its meanings, even how it's arranged. Somebody may have a mushaf and the ayat goes on the next page, but your mushaf, the way they published it, it stops on this page and the next page starts with another ayat. A person knows the Quran. He's familiar with the Quran. Its readings, its meanings, its ahkam, its rulings, its ma'ani, its various different lughat, ways that the words are used, and so forth. SubhanAllah. So this, again, this is a slight to the concept of the Quran. Those people who learn and teach being the best. Well, you're going to have by default, some people that are not in the category. Not everybody who learns, memorizes, and teaches the Quran is from the best. And we know that from, like we mentioned last night, the Khawarij. The Prophet praised them. No, he didn't praise them. He was making a distinction. And some people, they take this, well, see, the Prophet was praising them. La, abadan. La yusna alayhi ad-dallin and the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Prophet would never praise those people who are astray. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ذكرهم في Surah Al-Fatiha, those people who earned the anger of Allah because they knew it, he didn't practice it, and those who practice something without knowledge. How could the Prophet ever praise the people like that? It's no way. So the Prophet is not praising the Khawarij. It's a big mistake many people make. But he's showing how people can have a virtue but be astray. How people can be people who learn the Quran, teach to others, but be the worst of people. As the Prophet mentioned about the Khawarij, Allah Musta'an, their state, and he mentioned, إِذَا رَأَيْتُمُ الَّذِينَ سَمَّ اللَّهِ عَلَيْهِمْ فَاحْذَرُوهُ في Hadith Aisha. And when you hear Allah talking about those people in Surah Ali Imran, هو الذي أنزل عليك الكتاب منه آيات محكمات هن الكتاب وأخر متشابهات ثم الشاهد فأما الذين في قلوبهم زيغ فيتبعون ما تشابه منه ابتغاء الفتنة وابتغاء تأويله. نعم هؤلاء سماهم خوارج. That which is clear, they can take, use it, practice it, benefit. Nah, they go around, they go to something that's big, or something like wide. It's not clear. Something that is not aslu, it's farur. Something that's way out here, it's a branch. It's not what the baseline is, and then they try to use it, and they use it in a way to make fitna and to make commotion, and this is the khawarij. That's why they deem companions to be kuffar. That's why they deem Aisha to be like a regular lady. That's why they deem people to be making sure who are mediating between different people when they have problems. Because of this, they took something that was other than clear to use it in the way that they claimed was clear. So the Prophet mentioned these khawarij, and this is an example that the statement of the Prophet, those who learn the Quran, teach others the best people, is not always the case. Sometimes outside the box, you're going to find those people in a class of destruction, although they learn the Quran and they teach it to the others. But if a person is sincere, وَلَهُ إِخْلَاص وَصِدْق وَمَا وَلَهُ عُمْرٌ مِنَ اللَّهِ تَبَارَكَ وَتَعَالَى. He's sincere. He's doing it purely for the right reasons, because he wants to receive the mercy and the blessing and the pleasure of Allah, and he's truthful in that. He's not seeking worldly gain, or to be above, or to control, or for politics, or for money, or to put others down. and he has the aid from Allah, then he will be from the best of the people, the one who learns, he or she who learns the Quran, something from the Quran, and they teach it to others. That's Allah. Ameen. As for the tying the Quran down, many hadith, the Prophet mentioned this, and know that when his etiquette, he will speak to the people in a way that they can get it. Sometimes we speak to people who way up here and they're down on the ground. We're looking up and the person is on his knees. Have to talk to the people where they can get it, they can relate, because all of this is for one thing, to practice, to be a physical benefit. So how can someone benefit if they don't get the picture? So the Prophet talked about the Quran. The Quran, that you take the time to make wudu and they face the Qibla and you pray, but you recite it standing, sitting, lying down. The Quran that keeps you up at night when you could be sleeping, you're reciting the Quran that you read in the day and the night, the Quran that you're reading when you're local or you're traveling, that Quran. That Quran, the Prophet says, it will be for you or against you. That Quran, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentioning that you have to tie it down. We used the example of the camel, because if you don't use it, you what? Lose it. And this is in the dunya sense. What do you think, like doctors, they have to every so often do every year some type of training to keep their license to practice as a doctor. He has his, degree as a doctor, but he has to have a licensure test, because they want to make sure that he stays sharp. Give him, a basic board renewing test to make sure he has these things in place as a doctor. And he must work so many hours in the field. Can't just say I'm a doctor who works once a week, and that's it. No. Once a month, no. He has to have a certain amount of hours in the field to even keep his credentials. Same thing when we talk about teachers. Sometimes have these different workshops and seminars, different things, computers. They say if you don't stay on top of the game or the different type of, I should say, programs and advancements with technology, will be extinct. You'll be outdated. You have to keep renewing your information. But that's with the worldly affairs. But what about the Quran? That we mentioned is so mighty, so great. Yeah, you have to stay on it, review. Wallahi, I remember in my young years going to Egypt and coming back, living in Newark at the time. Remember, there was an older person. His name is Abu Hamza, Muhammad Dahab. And somebody told me he died. I'm not sure, so no one said Rahimahullah. But Muhammad Dahab, he was Sudani, he was Nubian. He was my, elder, and he was a great friend to me, So I remember he was talking about how some people came to America. They were Hufaz al-Quran, and they lost everything except Al-Fatiha. And I was amazed. And in my mind, I'm like, wait a minute, what? And he said, well, yes, Astaghfirullah al-Azim. Lost everything except Al-Fatiha. And so this is a reality. The Prophet is telling you that, And I know for sure you part of this scenario, not tying down the Quran and losing it, also has to do with ma'asi. Sometimes people think we're crazy. Like Shaikh Osama said, they think we're corny, man. Sometimes people think like, you're too religious, or, he's not, like the rest of the people is odd, and you talk like about sin and obedience, because we live in a wicked world. Sin is okay. Sin is the thing. Like one brother told me, one of the main things they say now when you're doing bad stuff, they say, I'm on demon time. Ooh, can you imagine? Doing stuff, and you say, yeah, I'm on demon time. So you punch somebody in the face, you kick somebody, you do drugs, you make zina, You know, you vandalize, you tear up stuff, you pull weapons on people, and people say, what's wrong with that guy? He said, listen, I'm on demon time. Yeah, what? And he hits you there. And he's like a badge of honor. We live in an evil environment. Evil is at the fingertips of most people with devices now. So yeah, imagine just not reviewing on top of now the lifestyle of somebody who's sinful. Do you really think they're going to maintain that precious book of Allah in their heart and their mind and on their lenses? Nobody. The more you obey Allah, you're going to be afraid to lose that Quran. The more you obey Allah, you're going to appreciate and love that Quran. The more you obey Allah, Allah is going to increase you in Iman, and that Iman is going to push you and allow you to be able to sit and read the Quran for a half hour a day. Read a page a day, a half a page, 2 pages, 3 pages, 4 pages, just whenever you want. You can sit and read the Quran. I mean, that's a ni'mah. Everybody can do that. Just read it real, just off the top of your head. That's a ni'mah. Something happened, and the people, they curse. Say, damn, this. Or they remember, move your song. Something happened to you, you start quoting the ayah that fits that thing. Something you see, you recite the verse that Allah said that to bear witness. That's what Allah said. That's a ni'mah. And part of that is reviewing the Quran. With the janib al-ma'asi, with the nubi, sidestepping, avoiding sin and disobedience. ومبادرة للتوبة توبة النصوح إلى الله تبارك وتعالى بما لا تعلم وما تعلم, and being diligent and repentant to Allah, humbling yourself. Wallahi, people almost love to be rude. People are arrogant. Can't make themselves make Torah. You know he's wrong. She knows she's wrong. He's not going to feel bad about it. He's not going to say, oh, Allah, forgive me. He's in the room by himself. He'll watch movies all night. Watch jokes, porn, whatever. The thought, let me make 2 rakat and cry, nobody's around because I'm struggling, never crosses his or her mind. Heart, yani, muqlaq, yani, subhanallah, like a safe in the bank, closed. But when a person, yani, khashi'an, lillahi tabaraka wa ta'ala, he's afraid of what Allah can do to him. And many scholars say this is the difference between khushu' or khashi'. Khashi', you humble yourself because you're afraid of what Allah can do to you. That's why Allah said, إِنَّمَا يَخْشَى اللَّهَ مِنْ عِبَادِهِ مَاذَا الْعُلَمَاء. Though if you really know, you're going to be afraid of Allah because of your knowledge. Even if you fall into something because of your knowledge of Allah, you're going to make tawbah real quick. You're going to feel bad. I just did that sin. Now what if Allah takes my soul? Oh Allah, forgive me, don't take my soul. Let me make tawbah. I'm sorry. Suffering Allah. Tawbah to the soul. Sincere tawbah. That, for what you know, what you don't know. كان النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال اللهم أعوذ بك من أن أشرك بك شيء أعلم وأستغفرك لما لا أعلم. So Allah, I seek refuge in you from the shirk that I make and the shirk that I don't know. You have a slip of a tongue and make this shirk. كما الرجل في قصة أن الله يعني يحرى بتوبة عبده. نعم. حديث الرجل في صحيح البخاري ومسلم, where Allah Azza wa Jalla said Allah rejoices at the tawbah of his servant when he makes tawbah. So he said, no, Allah, he doesn't rejoice. لا يعني يفرح ولا يحب ولا يبغض ولا. Allah, he doesn't rejoice, he doesn't love, he doesn't dislike it. Clear statement of the Prophet. لا يفرح توبة العبد. But in that story, I'm talking to that. Or the values. Or the God.
I think it's bad.
It's the balance. That story about Allah Azza wa Jalla being happy and rejoicing at the tawbah of his servant. Remember, Allah doesn't need your worship. Somebody change this, you got that?
I think it's going to squeeze it.
A little bit skinny.
I have no idea. It's probably, but
Check this.
just squeeze
I
it.
have the small ones in my bag. That story, if it's the little triple A I have, that story, somebody give me my book back. That story of the man where the Prophet ﷺ mentioned Allah rejoices at the tawbah of the servant. Many people that said Allah, He doesn't rejoice. This is the action of the human being. Allah doesn't love, it's the action of the human being. Make sure it takes the skinny batteries first. If it doesn't have some, it may take the bigger ones. They said Allah Azza doesn't do those actions. The hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, clearly the Prophet said, Jeffra. It takes a little like this. The big got some. We should always have somebody. So this hadith is a proof that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He has those actions. Even if He has put it and created in His creation those actions, it does not take away the fact that Allah Himself, He has an action. And His rejoicing is a total rejoicing. His rejoicing is a rejoicing that's not conditional. It's not restricted with regards to what comes with that joy and pleasure. So here the Prophet ﷺ, he mentioned Allah, يَفْرَحَ بِتَوْبَةِ الْعَبْدِ. He rejoices at the tawbah of his servant. In that narration, the point is that the man, he made shirk. Imagine you have your camel during that time. On your camel is your water container. Have you some fruits or dates or whatever. You have what you need, for catching something if you hunt. You have some type of maybe milk or something for fats and things you need for calcium. You lay down under the shade and you nod off. You didn't intend on it. You wake up and your camel's gone. Nobody's around. There's no cell phone, no phone booth like back in the day. You used to have a phone booth. Who remembers that? You put the quarter in. It's a steel box. You walk up in the street. You have like on the sidewalk. You construct these things, and it's like a small roof. Just one person can fit in it. You open it. Sometimes you go and you shut the door. Other times it's just a box made out of steel. You walk up to it and you just pick up the phone. There's no thing that you go in. You put a quarter and you dial and you talk. And you talk for a certain amount of time, and the lady will say, please deposit another 10 cents or your call will be terminated. We used to have those before cell phones. People remember that? SubhanAllah. Sometime in the hospital you may still see them if the hospital is old in the emergency. Maybe. Yeah. No phone booth, no cell phone, no landline, no nothing. The camel just gone. You're looking around, where could he be? You just see desert, mountains, trees, no camel. But maybe he went behind the mountain, but you can't see that. You looking for him. Where did he go? So that man, after a period of time, the camel didn't show up. He said, man, somebody got my camel, wandered off, somebody stole it, I don't know. All my stuff was there. I'm thirsty, I'm hungry, all my stuff is on my camel. I'm just going to be here. If somebody comes, maybe I'll perish. He just lays down, stressed out, feeling that he's just going to be there until he dies. He despairs. He wakes up, and what do you think he sees? His camel. The man, he was so happy, he said, Allahumma anta abdi wa ana abdu wa ana Allahumma anta abdi wa ana rabbuk. Oh Allah, you are my servant, I'm your Lord. I know for sure. But the hadith, the long version, the Prophet said, the man, he made that statement in shiddat al-farah. because he was so happy. He mixed his words, but it doesn't take from the reality of shirk. So the law is his servant, and he is the law's Lord. It's like this concept, Jesus is the Son of Allah, or Jesus is God. This shirk. So a person could make shirk slip of the tongue and not know it. Your prophets are telling you, Allahumma inni a'udhu bika min an ushrika bika shay'an a'lamu. Oh Allah, I seek refuge, I should make shirk with you knowingly, wa astaghfiruka lima la a'lam. And I seek refuge in you for the shirk that I may make unintentionally. So the issue of keeping the Quran tied down by physically reviewing, recitation, sitting sometime with somebody reading, letting them hear it. They may correct you, they may not correct you because you have no mistakes. Reading to yourself, reading with the audio, raja'a. Important. And your obedience. What did Imam Waqi' tell Imam al-Shafi'i? Shikowu ila al-Waqi' na'am bisu'u hifz, because his memory became bad. You know, Imam al-Shafi'i was the type of guy that said if he had a book and he was memorizing one page, he would have to put his hand over his eye or cover the other page because he had a photographic memory. He would memorize them both on accident just by looking at them. He had that type of memory. But then he complained to his teacher, okay, because of his memory became bad. What did Waqi' tell him? Who remembers that story? Allah, 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 Allah. Nasallahu najal min tawabin waj'alna min mutatahhirin. Ameen. Allah make us from those who repent to Him, those who purify themselves. He said, leave the ma'asi. And this, imagine, Imam al-Shafi'i wasn't smoking crack. There's no crack around. Alhamdulillah. He's an alim. You think like he slept with a lady in the hotel and said, oh man, my hip, oh, subhanAllah. But like we have brothers say, I'm Muslim, but I'm not Deen and Akhi. What the heck you mean you're Muslim? And you're like, how could that be possible? A non-Deen? What does that mean? I'm a Muslim, but I'm not Deen. Oh no. Can you imagine? If Shafi was in the disco and gambling was on the casino boat, what does it mean by the Torah Ma'asi? Yeah, I mean, you see a lady in the souk, subhanAllah. But you might look back again. The brothers, they said, well, you know you get one look. So the lady's there, you see her, and then he looks again. She got a big butt. I think that is not the meaning you have one look. That means you have one look accidentally to see something that will blow your mind and you're not charged for. And the ulama said, once you look a second time, khalas, kana ma'asi. Now it becomes a sin. With the brothers that have this tafsir shaytaniyah, that your first look, that's for you, is you know, it's cool. You know, it's not on you. So they mean you see something, that don't count as the first look, now you can look once. And he's looking for 15 minutes. Man, she's got a nice spot. Just like this. And he might say, Akhi, look at that. SubhanAllah. And he's telling you to look. Woo! SubhanAllah, if you look at that. So the Imam al-Waqi' is not telling Imam Shafi'i that. He's talking about an accidental human sin that caused you to lose the memory of something precious like Quran, Hadith. How about now what do we do? How about now what do we fall into? How accidental, how non-accidental, how big, how often. So all of this has to do with tying down the Quran, the virtue of reviewing and leaving the sin. How much time we got left? Now, Barakallahu fikum. This, I want to mention the virtue of the Quran. فيها فوائد من فضائل الفاتحة. نعم. وكما قال الله سبحانه وتعالى الحمد لله رب العالمين. Now, some ulama they said رب العالمين كل ما سوى الله. Everything يعني besides Allah, this is Alameen. But Imam Shawkani, he mentioned in his Fath al-Qadir that يعني Alameen أربع أصناف. It's 4 groups. يعني he said الجن, الإنس, والملائكة. Number 1, the jinn. And that's not when you get mad, like Imam Wafdi used to say, jinn is just the fiery disposition. When you get mad, that's jinn. No. It's not like Yusuf Ali, he said, jinn just means when you get angry. No, jinn is a real creation. وَخَلَقَ الْجَنَّ مِن قَبْلِ. Allah said we created jinn before mankind. وَخَلَقَ الْجِنَّ وَلَنْسَ لَا يَعْبُدُونَ. Only created jinn, again, and mankind. Not a feeling, a creation. وَكَانَ مِنَ الْجِنِّ فَفَسَقَ عَنْ أَمْرِ رَبِّهِ. And he didn't prostrate, Iblis wasn't an angel, but he was amongst them, but he was from the jinn species. Jinn, number 1, is the meaning of Alameen, from the Imam Shawkani, his tafsir. And ants, human beings. The third, the Malaika. And the 4th category, who can say? What do you think? 4th category. Vashayati. Vashayati. Now, this is تفسير إمام الشوكاني في القدير الآية لا تبقى سورة الفاتحة يعني الحمد لله رب العالمين العالمين يعني كما أنه راجع was كل ما سوى Allah, everything besides Allah is called عالمين. Imam Shawkani said that 4 يعني categories of عالمين being jinn, humans, malaika, and shayateen. And يعني you have barakallahu fikum ayat al-kursi. Wow. Ubay bin Ka'b said, هو أعظم آية في القرآن. Why he mentioned this is because this ayah كلها بتوحيد الله سبحانه وتعالى. The whole ayah is talking about Allah. It has nothing to do with the people of the past, the people of the hellfire, the people of the paradise, prophets and messengers. It has nothing to do with ibadah. It's talking about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Man, أولها إلى آخرها. So it has to be the greatest ayah in the Quran. And Sallam, he mentioned, whoever mentions it, في الدبر والصلاة لا يعني يمنعه من الجنة إلا أن يموت كما قال. Nothing will stop them from going to paradise if you pray and you say it as a dhikr. Allahu la ilaha illa huwal qayyum to the end, and then you die. What's going to put you in the hellfire? Nothing. What's going to stop you from paradise? Nothing except you didn't die. So if you recited al-Fatiha, an ayah from the Quran, when you finish your salah, make sure you recite an ayah to kursi as a dhikr. You don't have to count it, just recite it after your 5 daily prayer, because if you die like that, it's like saying the shahada before you die. It's like saying la ilaha illallah is your last speech. And that's what some also mentioned, that it's true. Say it before you go to bed. Like the Shaitan told Abu Hurairah in the story of the man who was studying from Zakat al-Fitr. Say it before you go to bed, because if you say it, that's the last thing, and then you go to sleep, you die in Tawheed. If you believe in the Ayatul Kursi, you believe in its meaning, you believe in the protection, you say it, you die, you go to Jannah. It's like dying on the Kalima, because that ayah, أعظم الآية في القرآن هو آية توحيدية. It is the ayah of the Quran, and it is the ayah of Tawheed. And you have, lastly, Barakallahu Fikum, the issue of Surah Al-Baqarah, Ali Imran, 10 ayat, Surah Al-Kahf, many fawaid, many virtues of the Quran. ونسأل الله سبحانه وتعالى أن يحب الحق الحق ويبطل الباطل إنه سميع الدعاء. We ask Allah to make the truth victorious and sing His truthfulness. We ask Allah to make the falsehood low in the land and make it triumphant. ونسأل الله سبحانه وتعالى أن يجعل القرآن في صدورنا جميعا. Ask Allah to make the Quran something that enters all of our chests. وأنه تربية في يعني قلوبنا, to make it running through our hearts like springs. ونسأل الله سبحانه وتعالى يرفعنا به ولا يعني يذلنا به. Ask Allah to raise us by it, not debase us by it. ونسأل الله سبحانه وتعالى يجعل حجة لنا لا علينا في الدنيا ولا في الآخرة, to make it a witness in our favor in this life, not against us in this life, nor in the hereafter. وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على عبد الله ورسوله وعلى آله وأصحابه وسلم تسليما كثيرا. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا هو أستغفره وأتوب إليه وآخر الدعوة